Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Sending the Community with me, Hafiz Muhammad Umar. And if you have been tuning in each week, you will know that on a Wednesday evening from 7 till 8 is our dedicated slot for Sending the Community. SEND stands for Special Education Needs and Disabilities. And each week we try to highlight the significance of a particular special education need or disability, and then we try to speak to professionals or people with lived experience or parents or carers of people with that particular condition, and we talk about the challenges they might face, the barriers to their learning, education, adulthood, and the support available to them. And to that end, as I mentioned last week as well, this month, April, is nationally considered the Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. And we've done a couple of shows on autism already. And today I am absolutely delighted to welcome Angela Amitrano, who is the Adult Services Manager to Autism Bedfordshire, or Adult Services. Welcome aboard, Angela.
Good morning.
Morning, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And Angela's quite rightly said good morning because this is a pre-record, so I know it will be played in the evening. So please don't, listeners, don't ring in. It is a pre-recorded show. We are incredibly busy, so where possible, we try to host a live show, and it's not always possible. But either way, we try to pull together to make sure that this significant work is mentioned on our radio show, and the opportunities available for young people and adults with all conditions are shared with our listeners. And so today we are going to be talking about autism and also the support that is available through Autism Bedfordshire. So, Angela, if you could, for the benefit of our listeners, perhaps tell us what autism is, please.
Autism is a neurodivergent condition that affects many people. We at Autism Bedfordshire offer support for primary diagnosed autistic adults. We also run children's services at Autism Bedfordshire, and maybe one of my children's colleagues may come along and talk to you about what they do sometime. A big part of what we do is we offer social opportunities for autistic adults. One thing that a lot of our autistic members say is that they struggle to get out and socialise and make friends and meet people in the community and access the community. So what we do is we facilitate social groups right the way across Bedfordshire and Milton Keynes. In Luton, we run two social groups that meet up once a month. And throughout the year, we offer many different events and social opportunities for autistic people. The other side of what we do is we offer a lot of skills training to our autistic members. So we offer workshops that are online or in person, and we offer skills training courses throughout the year. We work specifically in Luton, we work with Luton Adult Learning to provide skills courses. And that is everything from understanding the autism diagnosis to budgeting, cooking, and independent living skills. The other area that I support is we have a benefits advisor that works with our autistic members to support them to access the benefits that they're entitled to. And we can also support parents and carers with that. We have a helpline that we run Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and that is for anybody to ring up and ask us anything about autism, getting support, how to access support in the community. We can also refer people on from us to get the right help. One thing which is separate to adult services, but we have a specific department that works on training, and that is for professionals and parents and carers. So if you have any parents out there, carers out there that want to learn and understand a little bit more about what autism is, what the autism diagnosis is, and how that they can support their adult or child, then you can find that on our website, which is Autism Bedfordshire.
.net, yeah.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful. I'm currently just browsing through Autism Bedfordshire website as Angela is speaking, and it is easily accessible. You're right, you know, the training section is under Meet the Team, which falls under the very first category on your website on About Us. That is wonderful. And listeners, if you've not heard of Autism Bedfordshire before, you could go to any search engine, type in Autism Bedfordshire, and the first option that came up on my computer as I'm speaking to Angela here was the autismbedfordshire.net website. And on that, all of this information is available to you. Angela, the training you mentioned, I know you said is for parents or carers, as well as for young people or others with the diagnosed condition. What about professionals who might be thinking of either employing somebody with autism or have employed somebody, or they might consider taking an apprentice or a volunteer with autism? Do you offer any training for them at all?
We do have a project that is running called Hear Me, See Me,
Okay.
which is an opportunity for us to support organisations out there to develop their understanding.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we used to have employment support funding many years ago before Brexit, and that unfortunately dried up. As we're a charity, we rely on funding quite a lot. We do work with the local job centres, the disability advisors at the local job centres. And there is, you know, we can advise around things like access to work, and where to get to support for employers that are looking to employ autistic adults. And hopefully down the line, there will be some funding come up for us, then we can continue to support autistic people into work and, yeah, train employers on, you know, how to communicate with autistic people. We currently run something called the Oliver McGowan programme, and that was run in conjunction with the NHS to train professionals in how to communicate with autistic adults and young people. And hopefully that will grow, and we will be able to run courses for other professionals. And it's about how to communicate and understand an autistic person. So, you know, that hopefully will become available to people as that rolls out. And that's also on our website. So we have many different areas that we try and support as many people as we possibly can in understanding the autism diagnosis and how to support people, but also to support autistic people themselves and children and parents.
Amazing. And in terms of the condition itself, so I know you work predominantly with adults, but you have an excellent children's services available at Autism Bedfordshire too. So for anyone who is newly diagnosed, they might have worries, anxieties about the condition itself. I know as a sent with school, for example, when young people are diagnosed, they quite often become quite worried, anxious, withdrawn, about the condition as being something really big. And in schools, we offer a lot of close support to them. For adults getting diagnosed, what kind of support can they expect from an organisation like yours then?
We currently have something called post-diagnostic funding. So we are working with the local diagnostic services. And when somebody is diagnosed with autism, they can actually access us currently to do some one-to-one work where they will meet with a post-diagnostic support person who will talk them through understanding the diagnosis, where to go next. It also helps to bring people into our services, because we run lots of services that can support people throughout their lives. So once you become a member, our membership is a lifelong membership. And some people will access us all the time. We run Understanding My Autism courses and workshops throughout the year to give people a little bit more understanding of what their diagnosis means and how it's going to affect them and how they can move forward in a positive way. And, you know, we try and work with the local services to get as much support for our members as possible.
So getting onto those courses then, for somebody to understand their own condition, is there a referral process through a professional or is it self-referral? How does that work?
Our services are all self-referral, so you can access our referral form on our website, or we have for our children's services, there is an inquiries email address, and for our adult services, it's adult inquiries at autismbeds.org. And we can send out referral forms. We have a service guide which you can access through our website, which shows you all the wonderful things that our members are involved in throughout the year and the sort of support that we offer. And yeah, if you fill out the application form and send it back to us, one of my colleagues, either myself or one of my colleagues, will meet with the person and their parents and carers to talk a little bit more about what support they're looking for so that we can tailor the support around the person.
And at what age do you consider somebody under your adult service section as opposed to children? I know some say 18, some say 21. What's your kind of a threshold?
Our adult services are from 18 onwards, so we have no upper threshold, and we do have a lot of people that are in their 60s and 70s that are still accessing our services. But we work from 18 onwards, so our children's services will work up until 18. And I know children's services run groups called Wanted Fun and Loaf throughout Bedfordshire, and they also run a holiday schemes throughout the school holidays. We also run summer programs. A lot of our young people are between 18 and 25 are still in education. So we will run half-term and summer programs for those young people as well if they can't access us during the week.
Amazing. And if I could just go back a couple of steps, please. I know we're talking about post-diagnosis. What about pre-diagnosis? So if somebody has, come across the condition and they've started looking into it on their own accord and they start getting worried, thinking, you know what, my memory is really good. I like my routine. Could I possibly be under this condition? How can they get the reassurance? What are the first steps they should do if they are perhaps concerned about whether they have autism or not? What should they do?
Well, we are currently running some pre-diagnostic workshops for
Okay.
people. So if there are people out there that are thinking, am I autistic? Maybe one of their family members has been diagnosed. And because it's, it is scientifically proved that it is generic. And there may be someone in the family line that also has an autism diagnosis. So if somebody's thinking about looking into what autism is, how to get a diagnosis, we have some online pre-diagnostic workshops which we advertise. And also our helpline is available Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. If people want to give us a call and speak to us and get some advice from us, then people are welcome to call our helpline at any time.
And then if they feel, you know what, I perhaps need to be assessed, what would be the route towards getting an assessment?
We always recommend people go through their GP. So GP or health professional and request a referral to the diagnostic team. Unfortunately, there is a waiting list. It fluctuates every now and again, but there is something called the right to choose through the NHS. So if you speak to your GP and they say, well, the waiting list is currently 3 years, you can ask for right to choose, where there may be an opportunity for that person to be referred somewhere else for a quicker diagnosis. There are private consultants out there, but we would recommend people go through their GP because the NHS provides a good diagnostic service in this area.
And who would be suitably qualified to carry out the diagnostic?
So
The diagnosis?
the team that we work with is at Twinwoods. So there is psychologists that work specifically in the autism. It's called the Adult Autism Service. We sometimes get confused because we're Autism Bedfordshire and they're the Bedfordshire Adult Autism Service. But they are the ones that would go through the diagnostic process with someone.
Yeah, I guess I was really getting towards people understanding that it's a psychologist who would usually need to be involved at some stage, and that is also the case for children's services as well. I mean, from a school's perspective, if our listeners have a young person that they're concerned about, for them the first starting point would be perhaps a young person's class teacher if they're in a primary school, if they're in a secondary school, perhaps speaking to the form tutor or head of year, and then going through the Senko to ensure that that conversation is had and all the possible pre-diagnostic tests are done within the school, and then a Senko would be able to make a referral to an educational psychologist, as indeed, as Angela said, GP would be another option available to parents of young children as well, because that is also something that can be facilitated. And I guess the reason I mentioned that is the fact that the sooner a person is given the reassurance, the better. If somebody is in a schooling environment and they have a diagnosis of autism, there is a lot of additional space available for them to make the learning more of a level playing field. So those unforeseen barriers are removed, and we can ensure that then continues into adulthood as well. And because our main focus today is around adult services, we will dedicate more of today's session towards that. And as Angela mentioned earlier, this service is for adults from age 18 upwards, for the rest of their life, really. And in order to be able to gain that support, I guess the next question is if you've got the health, social, employment, what about access to accommodation? Is there anything your organization offers support with that at all?
Unfortunately, we don't support people with getting into supported living or housing and accommodation. That would be, we would refer people through the local authority.
Right.
Unfortunately, we are unable to do that. But the local social services, the local authority should be able to advise with those things. The other thing you mentioned was about a diagnosis. A lot of people question, well, why do you want a diagnosis? Why do you want a label? Why would you want to label yourself with having a neurodiverse condition? Having the diagnosis will open doors. So not only for within local authorities being able to access support from your local authority or your local charities, but it also opens support for things like benefits. And when somebody is looking to go into work, having the diagnosis will enable that person to be covered under the Equalities Act. So as an employer needs to look at reasonable adjustments in the workplace to support someone who has a disability or health condition. So, having that diagnosis will support that person through their life. We think it's quite important. And it's not a bad thing to have a diagnosis of autism. It's not although it is a lifelong condition, it's not something that people should worry about.
Absolutely, and I think when we look at individual famous people with other diagnoses of autism or ADHD, some of them, have been able to live, well, most of them have been able to live very successful lives. Some are professionals in the field of sport, art, music, drama, politics, computer science, and having the condition does not mean your chances of success in life are limited. It just means that your special way of thinking is perhaps celebrated in a better way, and people are able to understand why you might appear to be different at times. But again, we human beings, we're all very different, we're all very unique, and I think it's that's why we call it autism acceptance. The fact that we accept that the individuals with the condition are not unnorm, or somehow they're different, and be put to value and appreciate and celebrate that. And so, yeah, lots of advantages of having the diagnosis, and of course, under the Equalities Act. It is imperative that employers make reasonable adjustments for people with disabilities, and hidden disabilities is absolutely fundamental to this. It's been about 5, 6 years now since the government fully understood and accepted hidden disabilities as a formal disability, and agreed that nationally there will be greater initiative to ensure people with hidden disabilities, including autism, are given that right and respect in places of work, and other, social inclusion opportunities as well. Listeners, if you have just tuned in, you are listening to Send in the Community with me, Hafiz Muhammad Umar. And in today's show, we are talking about autism. I'm joined by Angela Amitrano, who is the Autism Bedfordshire Manager for Adult Services, and we are talking about the amazing work Autism Bedfordshire are doing at the moment in and around Luton, with a whole host of local organisations. Some of them have been mentioned now who will be more familiar to people in Luton. So places like, for example, Friends for Bright Eyes, and Families United Network, and COCD, Centre for Youth and Community Development. And then there's also CHUMS, Mental Health and Emotional Wellbeing Services, as well as Autism Bedfordshire themselves. So this consortium has these 6 member organisations, which is fantastic. And we've covered 4 in the past on our show here, and the others are in the pipeline to be covered in coming weeks. So when we talk about Autism Bedfordshire, they're no stranger of an organisation to us living in Luton and surrounding areas, and we are wanting to make sure that their excellent work is not forgotten, but equally appreciated and celebrated throughout. Angela, if you move on to 1 or 2 other things now, perhaps we haven't yet fully discussed. So you talked a bit about the work you're doing. How do you break the barriers to healthcare then?
We currently, with part of our Hear Me, See Me project, and breaking barriers, there is a team of people at Autism Bedfordshire that are working with the local NHS services. And if you go on our website, or if you follow us on either Facebook or Instagram, every now and again you'll see some of the work that they've been doing. So they've been working with people like the diabetic services, and they've created videos to support autistic people. They've worked with the local eye clinic. So they're working with different departments throughout the NHS, created easy read guides for autistic people, creating videos to support autistic people to go through the process of accessing the NHS, because it's quite a scary process. If you get sent a letter that you don't quite understand, and you get sent to a department that you've never been before, and going through that process can be quite stressful. So their department is trying to break some of those barriers down for autistic people, and develop some guides and some videos to support people to go through the process and feel less anxious.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, these videos are there for patients as well as for professionals. And if you go onto the Autism Bedfordshire .net website /breaking barriers to healthcare, or just search for Breaking Barriers. It's under What We Do section, which is the third tab on the website. And there are several short videos that you can watch, between approximately around 5 minutes or so for each video. And there is lots and lots of goodness available. If you can, we might play one of the short videos in our show. Otherwise, they're available for our listeners to be able to access at your own leisure. And we are coming towards the end of the first half of this show. We will be going for a short break. And when we come back, we will continue this discussion with Angela around the additional services that people could expect from Autism Bedfordshire. That includes things like how they can be supported themselves, as well as careers and news and events, and how somebody could become a member. And we will try to look at support for children, as well as training and consultancy. Listeners, do stay tuned. And we hope that you will join us again very, very shortly here in Inspire 105.1 FM. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to second half of today's show in Sending the Community with me, Hafiz Muhammad Umar. And if you were with us during the first half of the show, you will know that in today's show, we are talking about Autism Bedfordshire and the excellent work that they are doing to support young people and adults with either a diagnosed condition of autism or those that might be worried, and how they can get the advice, support, and guidance towards a diagnosis. And in today's show, we are particularly focusing on the adult side of Autism Bedfordshire, and I'm delighted to have Angela with me again, who is the Manager for Adult Services. Angela, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming to join us today. And now, before we continue with our show, there are a couple of announcements to make for our listeners who want to be getting involved in other activities or things that are coming up. As most of our listeners will be aware, summer's near, pretty much. Well, spring certainly is anyway, summer's not too far, and summer sports have already started. So the cricket season has started with friendly matches, and in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire we'll have the league starting in the next week or two. And alongside that, our disability cricket is something we take very, very seriously. And our disability cricket team at Luton Town Indians Cricket Club, in conjunction with Cricket East, will be playing at Hertfordshire this coming Sunday. So if anybody wants to be getting involved, please come down to Luton Town Indians Cricket Club at some point this week and express your interest. That's predominantly for young people from the age of 11 upwards, so school year 7 upwards, and there's no age limit. And there is a fixture away at Hartford this Sunday, the 4th of May, and our cricket training will continue at Warden Park on Monday evenings from 6 o'clock till 7:30. So if you are wanting to get involved, there is no cost involved. Please pop down to Warden Park at Luton Town Indian Cricket Club on a Monday evening, and we can get you involved. Secondly, there is a National Disability Cricket Day happening at Lord's in June. And if anybody is interested in going down to watch, again, please contact us at the Cricket Club and we can try to facilitate your needs. That's the Disability Cricket Day. MCC would like to offer complimentary tickets to Lords for all clubs with an affiliation to the disability game. At Luton Town Indians Cricket Club, we are affiliated with the ECB. So we will be taking a group there. And the schedule for the day is that on the 25th of June, there will be a blind exhibition match at the nursery ground starting at 10 o'clock. And then MCC will play Middlesex Disability Team, also 10 o'clock. And then later in the afternoon, there will be an international game between England and India, and it's a mixed disability series starting at 3:30. So again, if you want to be getting involved, there is no cost for the tickets, but we will probably need to cover our own transport, etc. Please get in touch with us at Luton Town Indians Cricket Club. And alongside that, on Wednesday, the 21st of May, which is just about 3 weeks' time, there is an interactive workshop for special families taking place at Wigmore Church, Crawley Green Road in Luton. That's organised by Equality Primary Care Network and Oasis, and they've called it sensational. So it's an opportunity for families of young people or adults with special needs to get involved. If your local surgery is either under one of those two primary care networks, these Equality or Oasis, they are really targeted at you. Others can also attend as well. It's a free event. It is from 1:30 until 4 o'clock at Wigmore Church in Luton. So few opportunities for our listeners to be bit more involved in. So back to today's show, and we left off before the break on learning a bit more about the opportunities Autism Bedfordshire offer for raising awareness of different conditions for professionals, and also the short videos available via the website for anybody who wants to be breaking the barriers to healthcare. And as I mentioned, then these videos are all available on the website, and people can watch them at their own leisure. And another thing that Autism Bedfordshire do a lot of is information and guidance. So, Angela, could you tell us a bit about what kind of information and guidance do you offer them, please?
Well, we have two helplines that we run. So our children's services run a helpline Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So any parents out there that are looking for help, guidance, any information, or would like to sign up for some of our children's services, they would need to ring the children's helpline, or they can email the inquiries email address. For us, we have our own adult services helpline, which we run Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and anybody can ring us. If you're looking for some information, if you're looking for some training, if you want to talk to someone about whether or not to get a diagnosis, how to go through the process, if you want to ring us and, talk to us about, how you're feeling, if somebody's out there that is worried or anxious about, getting a diagnosis or what's happening in their lives at the moment, we try and give advice and support to as many people as we can. If we can't help, we will then signpost people and give people the information of where to go and where, which is the best avenue to go down. So, for instance, before the break, we talked about housing. We obviously don't support with housing applications or anything like that, but we can give people the phone numbers or the websites to get that support through the local authority or through different organisations. So yeah, our helpline is available to everybody.
And alongside that, you also offer a newsletter as well. How often is the newsletter issued, and what are the benefits of signing up for this?
We have two newsletters. So Children's Services run a newsletter that gets sent out, I think 2 weekly, monthly. I know for our services, we send out our newsletter at the moment weekly, because what we do is we advertise in there not only all the services that we've got available coming up. So, for instance, if we've got some skills training or workshops coming up, or trips out that people need to sign up to, then that will go in our newsletter. We also advertise things on Facebook and Instagram. But also other services give us information. So, for instance, we work with people who run For Men to Talk, which is an organisation for men's mental health. They share some stuff with us. Other organisations such as Rainbow Bedfordshire, they send us their posters. We advertise it to our members, just so that our members can not only access the things that we do, but they may be able to access other things. Recently, there is an ADHD support group that's just been set up for people, and we're also advertising that, because many people have a dual diagnosis. They may have ADHD and autism. Someone may be struggling with their autism and their mental health. So we try and share as much information of services that we can.
Absolutely. And then there are lots of useful links available on your website as well to for a host of other organizations. Some that cross over, as you mentioned there, things like mental health, for example. And then carers in Bedfordshire are another very important group who support all individuals who are in care, who are providing care rather, and that includes young carers as well. So if you are families, where you have adults with autism and young people are perhaps supporting somewhere or another, please rest assured there is that support available as well. And then when it comes to education, I think there are some acronyms that people might have come across and not being too familiar with. One common one being AHCP, which gets talked about a lot, but not many people perhaps realize what an AHCP is and how it benefits young people. Autism Bedfordshire have a really simple but powerful definition of an educational healthcare plan and what somebody can expect from an AHCP. It's not a straightforward application, unfortunately. There is help, support, and guidance around completing those. And all of these, again, are um, contributing towards the benefits of getting a diagnosis in the first place. If you have a diagnosis of autism or ADHD or any other condition, and then you want to be accessing things like an EHCP, that, just to be clear, is for 0 to 25, unfortunately. It's not lifelong support as much as we want it to be. But it's one of the benefits of having the diagnosis so that you can then look into those kind of opportunities as well. And then when it comes to events, have you got any events planned at the moment? Have you been doing lots of exciting events during April? What's happening at Autism Bedfordshire?
Well, in April, we did have an art exhibition
Oh,
in
wow.
conjunction with the Bunyan Museum
In Bedford?
in Bedford, where it
Fantastic.
was an opportunity for our autistic members to show their art. And hopefully that's something that we're going to do yearly in conjunction with the people that run the Bunyan Museum. Because we have a lot of very artistic people. So, people with a diagnosis of autism, can be very creative. So we're encouraging people to be more creative and have those different outlets. We are, off the back of that, doing some more art and craft sessions for people. So I am also the transitions lead for Autism Bedfordshire. So I work with the young people as they turn 18, because when someone goes from being a child to being an adult, a lot of services will disappear for that person. Because once they're an adult, the services are limited for 18-year-olds. So, as the transitions lead, we offer something called My Future, which is for our 18 to 25-year-olds. So I run workshops and programs throughout the school holidays or college holidays, which gives people an opportunity to come down and try what we do. We do some skills training, but also we are running some groups specifically for 18 to 25s, encouraging people to engage with us and be creative and learn some new skills.
Mm, mm, absolutely. And with your transition work, so that's once people are going from children's services to adults. And what about adults with diagnosis of autism, that being the primary need, and having an educational healthcare plan which would run until the age of 25? Once they've turned 25, what could those families and those adults with lived experience expect to happen when their education healthcare plan is no longer in place because they turn 25?
Well, I suppose for many people, the next step would be employment. So although we don't have employment funding, we do try and support our members to get the right support through places like Shaw Trust, through the Disability Advisor at the Job Centre. We do run some getting into employment courses where we can teach people how to write a CV, go for interviews, to prepare for that. And I know in Luton especially, there are lots of organisations that are supporting people to get into employment. If employment isn't the way forward, our groups that we do run, we run a lunchtime group once a month where people can get together. They go bowling, they can, they go to crazy golf, go for something to eat. We run an evening social group once a month in Luton, where they may go to the cinema or bowling or something. And it's just an opportunity for people to get together and meet each other. And also our skills courses that we run throughout the year. We run from a place called Hope Church in Luton. And that can be anything from, I said earlier, understanding the autism diagnosis to actually teaching people how to budget, live independently, community access, communication. We run lots of workshops around being safe online, being safe in the community. We get speakers in, sometimes from the police, fire service, just to teach people how to be more independent and be safe in the community.
Brilliant. And where are these events publicised? Are they on your website? Is it a social media
Well,
platforms?
our regular monthly groups, once somebody's become a member, so once somebody's done the referral and become a member, they will sign up for those regular groups and they get sent to people on a monthly basis. So one of my staff will send out an email saying the next group will be at this place at this time. This is how much money it will cost. And the courses and workshops we do, because we try and change them all the time to make sure people are getting as much out of the courses that we run. So they get advertised in our newsletter and on our Facebook and Instagram page. So and occasionally we'll send out a email out to all of our different group members just to tell them that stuff is coming up. The other thing that we've got coming soon is our summer programme. So every summer we run a programme of activities throughout the summer, and that can be a trip to London, seaside. Last year they went to Thorpe Park, as zoo trips and picnics and various different things. So they get advertised through our social media platforms and our newsletters, and they're open to all of our members who are actually signed up as a member of Adult Services.
So approximately how many people might attend one of these social events?
It depends. Some of our groups are quite big because we have quite a lot of members in the area. So maximum we have about 15 people come along to our groups. And we have 2 staff. So there will be two trained staff and up to 15 members. So that could be, going bowling or going for something to eat. In our workshops and groups, probably about maximum 12, because it's classroom-based activities. So,
and if any of the adults taking part have carers, are carers expected to attend with them, or
well, the way we run is we expect people to be independent enough to come along. So yes, carers, parents can drop them off and pick them up, and we give out all that information. But we expect that person to be independent enough to come along to the groups on their own. Because we run as 2 members of staff to sort of 15 members, unfortunately, we can't support people with quite complex needs. But there are lots of other organisations in Luton that, like Swell Nightclub and Your Life and Families United Network, that can support people with more complex needs. Whereas our members are predominantly, autistic members. They can learn that independence to come out and join us on their own.
Brilliant. And just for the benefit of our listeners, again, as I mentioned earlier, I am looking at the Autism Bedfordshire website whilst Angela and I are speaking. So that is at www.autismbedfordshire.net. or if you use any search engine and type in Autism Bedfordshire, that will take you there as the first option. And if you then go to the second last tab, which says News and Events, and move down to Upcoming Events, you got more information there as well. Sensory processing and autism for parents and carers, 2 parts, 7th of May, and order that you can read on and then sign up to as well. So these are, whilst we're talking, please don't feel that, oh, yeah, it's great knowing about it on radio. How can you access them? Please do go onto the website at autismbedfordshire.net, and you can see pretty much everything that we are discussing today. What I will also do then is, I think we have enough time to maybe play just one short video for the benefit of our listeners who might not be able to follow this on the website whilst we are talking, and that is around the breaking barriers to healthcare that I mentioned earlier. We'll play this short video, and again, as I mentioned earlier, it is available on the website too. So this is for about just under 5 minutes. So you will hear the video playing directly, and Angela and I will just go out and we will just watch this video now.
Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm a clinical lead nurse for the Weight Loss Clinic. We have made this video together with Autism Bedfordshire for our autistic patients or those with learning disability. In this video, we'll show you what to expect when you come for your appointment. As you enter our clinic area, you should go to the front desk. The receptionist will book you in and ask your name, date of birth, and address. You will be asked to take a seat in the waiting room. Once in the clinic room, you will be introduced to the healthcare professional. Your weight will be checked, and the assessment will start. During the appointment, we will ask you questions about your health, your eating patterns, your family, and together we can work out a plan suitable for you.
We're from the Diabetes Education Team at Bedford Hospital. You may have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. This series of videos will help you have a better understanding of type 2 diabetes and help you understand how you can manage your type 2 diabetes well.
This is 88 grams of pasta, which is quite a small plate of pasta. And we've got a bit of a game for you now. What I would like you to do is think about how many sugar cubes you think this breaks down to in our bodies. So, do you think this breaks down into 2, 7 or 10 sugar cubes in our body? The answer is actually 10 sugar cubes.
I'll start off by doing your blood pressure, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Your blood pressure is made up of 2 numbers. For example, 120 over 80. The higher number is called systolic pressure. This is the pressure when your heart pushes blood out. The lower number is called diastolic pressure. This is the pressure when your heart rests between beats.
So we have 2 sizes usually of speculum, a medium and small. The nurse will decide which size would work best for you at the appointment, depending on your presentation. Sometimes it's more comfortable to use a small speculum, especially if it's your first smear. For some people it's easier to view the cervix if we use a larger speculum. So you will find us at the Travel Lodge off Dunstable Road. Which is away from the hospital site. Parking is available in 3 car parks. Behind the Travel Lodge in the Fracture Clinic car park. You will need to pay if you park here. A lift is available to our clinic area.
LEADER is a national programme which learns from the lives and deaths of people with a learning disability and autistic people. The process helps us to make improvements to services. The LEADER programme started following an investigation in 2017 which found that people with a learning disability died 20 years younger than people who did not have a learning disability.
So my name's Kirsty and I'll be doing your screening for today. Could you please confirm your date of birth and the first line of your address?
This is your time to answer.
Thank you. Could you confirm? Okay, so if you hold this on your nose for me.
This is an accuda, which allows your eye screener to check your eyes one at a time. You hold this against your face so that you can see through the circle. Once you've completed the test with one eye, you turn it over to block out the other eye, and now complete the test again.
Looking out of your right eye, we're just going to do a short eye test.
The eye screener will ask you to read out the smallest line of letters that you can clearly make out.
But that was the Breaking Barriers video made by Autism Bedfordshire with Bedfordshire Roots and Milton Keynes NHS integrated care board. Angela and I were just watching that alongside our listeners here. We are into the final minute of the show now, unfortunately. Angela, any final words of advice to adults with autism in and around Bedfordshire from you, then, please?
Well, as I said earlier, if someone is considering whether they want to get a diagnosis or think that they may need to get a diagnosis, please call our helpline. We have a children's helpline and an adults helpline. If you are an autistic person or a parent and carer of an autistic person and you are looking for support, please contact us and we can advise you. If you're an autistic person and you'd like to get involved in a lot of our activities that I've talked about, please don't hesitate, contact us and we will sign you up to become a member of our services. And we do have a lot of fun. So
Angela, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. You take care. All the best.